Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today, we're going to talk about the Future Imperfect story arc, which, at least for me, it's one of the greatest Hulk stories ever. It is written by Peter David, and we have some jaw-dropping art by George Perez. There are so many panels and splash pages where George just goes crazy with the details to give us this very dystopian and broken future. Now, this particular story arc took place outside of the main Hulk series, but it's in Hulk continuity. It's 2 issues long. Through some crazy timey-wimey comic book shenanigans, Professor Hulk has been shot into the future. He's actually been brought there by Rick Jones's granddaughter. Her name is, I'm not sure if it's Janice or Janice. The thing is that she's rocking this crazy mohawk and she has this really insane fighting spirit. Now, spoiler warnings for, I guess, a 30-year-old story. It's worth reading because the story does a really awesome job to try to set up who is this future villain who has messed up everything, and why it's important that they have brought Professor Hulk to deal with the whole situation. Now, just in case for those who don't know, Professor Hulk would be the smart version of Hulk. So the thing is that we have Hulk, he's in this future, and he sees that like the security forces are like heavily repressing the people. So obviously Hulk jumps into action to try to defend and save as many people as possible. And the thing is that the Hulk discovers pretty fast that these guys have some pretty heavy duty firepower. Now, a couple pages into the story, we discover who is like the leader of this very broken society. His name is Maestro. He's an evil future version of the Hulk. And the thing is that he's like a fascinating character, because honestly, something has happened to the Hulk at some point in his future that's going to lead him to become this totally evil and corrupted being. And the thing is that since he's super smart, he's very cunning. Like further down into the story, we're going to discover pretty quickly that Maestro has dealt with all the superheroes and villains in this timeline. The story really wants to illustrate how dangerous is a super smart Hulk that has broken bad. And one detail that I didn't realize when I first read the story back when I was a kid was the fact that Maestro had like this whole harem of sex slaves that all looked like Betty Ross. It's profoundly messed up. He's shown to be a hedonist like Mr. Fix-It, but just taken to 11. And when we dig deeper into the story, we're going to see like a couple scenes where Maestro is going to go to these like different tribes in the Badlands. And he takes women as tribute to add to his harem. It's really dark. And he tells the families, look, at least she's going to eat. Because that's another thing with Maestro. Like, he just uses people and discards them. Like, he's a very, very dark character. I love this guy. So, going back to the Professor Hulk, he's taken back to, like, the rebel base. And he gets to meet their leader. And Hulk with Janice or Janus, he enters this, like, trophy room that's really messed up because they're not really trophies, but just, like, the few remnants that we have from each one of the heroes that has fought against Maestro. And we discovered that the leader of this resistance is a very, very old and decrepit Rick Jones. So Hulk gets the whole lowdown on the situation. And still he doesn't know who he's dealing with. But sort of at the same time, Maestro attacks the rebel base. And we get the first confrontation between the two Hulks. And the battle between both characters is really brutal. And there's this really, really messed up moment where Maestro takes like this woman as a human shield. And Maestro's like, look, you're a hero, stop this attack, or I'll kill this lady. And Professor Hulk is like, yeah, you're not going to do that. And Maestro starts flailing this woman around. She's like totally dead after this whole situation. Like, and Professor Hulk is like astonished that he would have done something so messed up. Like when Maestro does this first attack against the rebels, all of his soldiers are killed and he just doesn't even care. Like this guy is like next level evil. So the battle rages on, and like the Hulk, even when he punches Maestro, he by accident levels this building full of people. So Professor Hulk realizes that he has totally messed up. He tries to dig as many people out as he can. That's when Maestro attacks him from behind. He breaks his neck. And it's a really brutal moment. And from this moment on, the story gets like darker and darker because what happens with Maestro, since he knows that Professor Hulk is his younger self, he starts trying to groom him to make sure that he's going to evolve into Maestro himself. And like again, when I first read this, I didn't understand the significance. There's this whole situation where we have Hulk paralyzed in this bed, and Maestro sends this woman that looks like Betty to, I'm not sure how to say this, SA him. Like Hulk is like, no, please stop. When I reread this as an adult pretty recently, I was like, holy crap, how did Peter David get away with this with Marvel? So again, we get this whole situation with Maestro trying to groom Professor Hulk. He even tries to push him to unalive himself, and when Professor Hulk is not able to do it, he's like, "Haha! I know you want to be me." But obviously, Professor Hulk is going to get better. We're going to get a second confrontation between both characters, where I feel it gets even darker and more visceral the second time around. And the way that Hulk is able to finish off Maestro using Doctor Doom's time machine, it's pretty cool. And obviously, what you see in the story is that he's finished off, he's killed. Thankfully, Marvel is sort of like retcon this, so Maestro is going to come back in future stories. Now, the super cool thing about this story is that going up to this story and then afterwards, like you notice that there are moments where Professor Hulk sort of loses it. He's a little bit unhinged. Other times he seems to be a little bit ethically compromised. So you feel like Peter David was really building up to this idea of Maestro. And afterwards, we're sort of getting the setup of the possible birth of Maestro with what's going to happen with Hulk during the run at that time. But we're going to leave things here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.